So this is a very exciting time to be in flexible packaging because of the threat to our business around sustainability. There is a lot of activity going on around redesigning our structures. And so understanding the science behind how we make structures today and some of the new materials that are available and how we can put different things together it is very important, and it will help the package developer and the material scientists move forward in this area. Basically, all the players along the value chain will benefit from this workshop. So let's start kind of at the back end of the value chain where we have the material suppliers. These are the resin producers and things like that. They are developing new materials and new versions of their current materials for this market. And so what they would benefit from this course is just a better understanding of how things are done in this industry and how their material impacts the final performance of the product and how they might design better materials for this application. OEMs that make the converting equipment, that make films and laminations. Most of the professionals in this part of the value chain usually come from a mechanical engineering background, and so having a better understanding of material science will help them in developing their machinery. And then we have the filmmakers themselves, what we call the converters that are making films and laminations and packaging structures. And they will definitely benefit from this workshop through a better understanding of what kinds of materials are available, how to select different materials for heat sealing and barrier performance in particular, and what's some of the key factors in their process influence the properties of the final packaging structure. Things like how fast they run their line and what temperatures they run it at, and things like that can impact the actual performance. And we'll talk a little bit about that in the workshop. We have the brand owners. These are the consumer goods companies that are packaging their products in flexible packaging. And oftentimes they don't have a comprehensive understanding of the materials and the structures that they're buying. And this will help them with that, as well as understand some of the possibilities and some of the challenges as they try and redesign their packaging structures for sustainability. Influencers, people like in academia that will benefit from this, just having a better understanding of the practice of making structures in flexible packaging. They're coming at it from a more fundamental perspective and don't always have an appreciation of the technology that's involved. And so this will help them with that. And then there's regulators and there's the governments and NGOs and things like that that could also benefit from this workshop as well. As you try and redesign a structure for better sustainability, you may be working with new materials or considering new processes. And so the way I have structured this workshop is that we'll start out with a review of the converting processes that are available and used today for making these kinds of structures and some of the factors that influence the properties and the operability of these processes. So things like blown film, cast film, extrusion coating, orientation processes, things like that. That's what we'll cover in the first part of the workshop and focusing on what are some of the key parameters that characterize those processes in terms of productivity, quality, and control. We'll zero in on two very important properties of flexible packaging: the ability to heat seal the package and make hermetic seals and protect the product. And this is generally done by using specialty plastic resins that are called heat sealants. And we'll talk about what those types of polymers are, what their characteristics are, and how to select amongst the many options that you may have amongst the sealants. And then the other property we'll focus on is barrier, and we'll look at some of the barrier needs around oxygen, moisture, light, grease, things like that, and what are some of the polymers that can be used to achieve those barrier properties, and then also focus in on some of the alternatives as you're trying to redesign structures to make the final package compatible with, say, the polyethylene recycle stream or other options that you may be considering for sustainability. The material producers should, come away with a better understanding of how their products are used and some of the design considerations they need to think about as they're developing tweaks on their current products or developing brand new materials for this market space. So that's something they can immediately take away. For the OEMs, it's an appreciation for the types of materials that are being developed for these applications, some of the new materials that are coming along with some of the challenges they may be facing and how they may need to modify their equipment to deal with those. For the film and packaging converters, they should get some ideas on how they're operating their process affects the performance of the films that they're making, as well as a better appreciation on how to select materials for this application. And then for the brand owners, they should get an appreciation of the many different options that they have for making packaging structures. They may be dealing with a certain segment of the converters, and they may not realize that there are other companies out there that may be practicing other techniques that may give them different options in terms of making sustainable structures. And then also an appreciation for some of the types of materials that are available and how to select those materials, particularly for heat sealing and barrier performance.